Hey, what up, everybody? This is the Sharpshooting podcast. Hey, I told you we'll be back later this week, as promised. Pete, say what's up to the people.
What's going on, people? Yeah, like you said, Mike, we're back. We said we are going to be back, and now we didn't get the answers we were looking for, but we definitely got some wrestling in between.
Yeah. Oh, WWE. God damn it, they need better writers.
So we're just going with the whole thing that Night of Champions should have really just been a Raw episode. We're just going to stick with that. I think that just about sums it up. Just move on. They've swept that pay-per-view under the rug, and
Yeah.
this week's Raw, like I said, it didn't answer any questions. It didn't create any new questions. It just
Well, I will say they did mess with one particular element from Night of Champions, but
oh yeah.
yeah, they didn't really. It's like the stuff that I would like to really know about. I didn't get answered. I think personally.
So, going into this week's Raw, it kicked off with the Wyatt family, and can I just say, how refreshing is it to not have the Authority and Seth Rollins kick off Raw, or have the Authority in some way, shape, or form kicking off Raw?
It's funny because we were just talking about how maybe they're taking people's suggestions a little bit more. And I've heard a lot of wrestling podcasts say that they are too predictable in the beginning because everybody pretty much knows the first 20, 30 minutes of Raw. You're going to get most of that with either Triple H, Stephanie, or somebody coming out, and they're going to cut a long-ass promo about something. And then after that, they're going to go to commercial break. Then you'll hear them talk a little bit more. And then, like, all of a sudden, the match will start. It's like, basically, you could take the first 20 minutes of Raw and get your snack, use the bathroom, make any phone calls you have to do. But this week was actually different, which surprised me because I actually missed the first 5 minutes of that match because I wasn't paying attention, and then I look up like, oh shit, they're actually wrestling right now. What is going on?
They actually use something of relevance.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, okay, this is different.
It's very weird that they chose to build on this feud, even though I've been saying for a while now that I feel it's time they broke up this thing, but I guess it just kind of re-sparked my interest in a way, this segment here. So you had Bray Wyatt obviously coming out with the Wyatt family and discussing their win at Night of Champions. And typically, as you would expect, Roman Reigns comes out by himself, basically looking for a fight. That's the easiest way to put it. And he challenges Bray to a fight, which at the end Bray accepts. See, the weird thing about this was they said it was like a fight or something, but it was like literally just a fight with no ref, no nothing. So you had Luke Harper and Braun on the outside, just literally standing there, while Reigns and Bray had this fight. It was just the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, and eventually, they had to step in and give their 2 cents.
Yeah. I mean, it was expected having them both on ringside that Reigns would eventually get the upper hand, and then Luke and Braun interfere. And as you would expect, after that, Ambrose comes to the rescue. Oh well, to Roman Reigns' aid, typically as the whole feud has been set up. I think the next part was the bit that surprised me because you hear them chanting Jericho, thinking Jericho's going to come out. And I thought Jericho as well, simply because of the previous night. But then it cues Randy Orton's music, and I got to admit, I was pretty excited to see Randy Orton return.
Oh, yeah, it kind of was a surprise because I think we were discussing how he was under contract negotiations or something.
Yeah.
So nobody expected him to be on for a while, but guess they must have got that taken care of really quick.
Yeah, they must have.
Andy Orton, like, okay, all right, cool.
So So the thing is that still after that, I'm still, even when he came out, I'm still like, where's Jericho at this point? Like, it's nice that Orton's back and doing his thing, and it basically, to be honest, if we didn't know any better and we don't know the layout, me sitting there at that point, I thought to myself, this is the main event of Raw.
Yeah,
Like that was just my initial thought. Like the minute I saw it, I was just like, yeah, this is what's happening. It looked like it set the scene for a pretty exciting main event, and I have to say the crowd was loving this when they were having the all-out brawl. Like,
yeah, they got into it. It was cool, but I think for me, it goes back to what you were saying. We need to figure out where we're going to exit this feud and what we're going to do with these guys. I feel like WWE feels as if they found the perfect way of getting these people on screen and giving them something to do.
Yeah.
But it's wearing thin.
Yeah. I mean, eventually Reigns has to push up and you got Dean Ambrose, but I guess for now, like I said, it did spark my interest a bit more to see that potential match. I don't know when it'll come, sooner rather than later, I'm assuming. But yeah, it was actually a really, really good kickoff to Raw. I have to say, probably one of the best I've seen in a while in terms of like excitement levels for getting into the actual night and sitting there and watching it. Because usually the first 30 minutes, I'm like bored out of my brains.
Yeah, definitely. It's just nothing but skit after skit after skit.
Yeah, no, that's so true. And like we said, completely no answers. Not a single answer to Jericho's actions the night before. That is swept under the rug. It's almost like they got Jericho in just to fill a number and just to get a crowd reaction. So I have no clue what to take from that, which was disappointing because, like I said, like we were saying after the Night of Champions review, we were saying that we were kind of looking forward to, or we wanted to watch Raw to see him explain himself or see what happens between them, and then they just completely went left field and just forgot about it.
Yep, it never happened. Let's move on.
So moving on to the first match of the night, and actually there was quite a few matches tonight. I think there was 8 all up on Raw. So the first match of the night, you had Neville and the Lucha Dragons versus the Cosmic Wasteland, and the whole setup is mainly, it was more like Neville and the Lucha Dragons looking to avenge their loss at the pay-per-view. To be honest, I don't know why on earth they were booked to lose at Night of Champions. Why the Cosmic Wasteland won, it just doesn't make sense to me. WWE Creative, they always find ways to, like, I don't know how to word it. It's like they always find ways to destroy tag teams or like damage the reputation of tag teams. For example, like the Ascension, when they were on their roll, they had that shocking loss, and then you just can't, like, you just lose interest in that group completely. It's just stupid.
Again, I feel like this is let's find these guys something to do type of scenario. It's like clearly they don't want to push Neville singles wise right now. And this goes back to putting together the championship belts and getting rid of certain titles over the years has kind of like started to have a lot of people end up in that position where they're spinning their wheels. It's like, what do we do with these guys? And then they get stuck in some of these feuds that probably really shouldn't get stuck in. Like, I guess some you have to, like with the Intercontinental, you still have to continue to Ryback Kevin Owens thing. Ryback wants his title back, so that has to go on for at least another pay-per-view or two. The U.S. Championship, John Cena is going to do his open title, title shot thing week in, week out, so that makes that belt competitive. But everything else, they're kind of locked down in a little bit of a rivalry. So anybody who is not a part of that rivalry what are you doing? Where's your FaceTime? What situation can we keep going to keep you in the spotlight? Because Neville's kind of red hot, but he don't have anywhere to go. He's hit the ceiling. So now it's like, okay, we're gonna put him in this. I guess, Hell in a Cell, we're gonna see the Lucha Dragons and Neville probably end up going against the Cosmic Wasteland, because what else are we gonna do with them?
Yeah, no, that's a fair way to look at it, and I completely agree. I mean, Neville is really waiting for the opening in a singles division title to appear where he can just drop in. But this match in particular was one of those kind of one of those annoying tag matches in a sense at the start, where you have Neville getting beat up on and he can't get the tag. But eventually, when he did get the tag to Kalisto, I don't think I've ever seen Kalisto do as much in the ring. Like he had such a almost a star role. Like this was his match. It was just a standout performance.
He kind of got the call because fucking Sin Cara, as usual, does a super botch. And hey, Kalisto botches too. I'm not saying Kalisto don't botch at all, but Sin Cara seems to do the biggest standout botches. When he tried to jump up on the top rope and slipped off, it's like, what are you
consistent.
doing?
I think with Sin Cara, it's consistent botches. Like he has such consistency. Like every week he's got
consistently botching.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But Kalisto ends up picking up the win. A really predictable match. Like again, I couldn't see them losing twice in a row. I don't see what it would do for the Cosmic Wasteland. Not that it really does much for Neville and the Lucha Dragons winning this match. This is kind of dead rubber, but like you said, you got to keep them on TV and keep them relevant and in the eye of the fans to keep Neville going.
Yeah, and I mean, it gives Cody somewhat of a spotlight. I mean, Jesus, why can't he just be Cody? I still want him to be Cody. I miss Cody Rhodes.
Yeah,
and the fact that he Stardust still using the Crossroads is hilarious.
Yeah, no, that's so true. So I guess it kind of it was kind of like a little buzzkill. You had the kickoff looked amazing, and then that match it was a very steady, not the worst, not the best. It was kind of in between. So moving straight on to match number 2, which a squash match, let's face it. Ryback versus Bo Dallas, and you had Kevin Owens on ringside commentary. This match from the start is predictable. Whenever Bo Dallas is coming to the ring, you know he's getting squashed.
Yeah.
And man, has he let himself go a bit.
Yeah, I was tweeting how I don't think he believes in working out anymore since they barely use him, because he clearly is not in top shape anymore.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. I mean, like you said, he's not really being used. It's kind of just there for a little 3-minute match every now and then. So,
yeah, and that's the thing. It's not like he actually wrestles a real match. He just gets. Oh my god, he's a jobber.
He's the new Zack Ryder.
Yeah, he kind of is. So even Zack got a bit of a run though.
Yeah, I mean Zack's popularity came from his YouTube channel.
Yeah,
so he bring on his own popularity.
It's still they gave him a little bit of a run. They didn't. They're not giving Bo Dallas anything.
Tough times.
It's weird. It's very weird.
So his match with Ryback, let's say, he went for I think a little over 3 minutes. So again, it's another match where the result was never in doubt, not even for a second. But typically after the match, when you have basically two people that are feuding, the one on ringside ends up coming in. Kevin Owens attempts to attack Ryback after the match. But basically, Ryback ends up flinging him out, and it ends up with Kevin Owens running up the ramp instead of Ryback, as Kevin Owens would have planned it. And I guess they've kind of leaned on putting Ryback into a really strong position heading into his rematch for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah. I mean, we have to do it. It's a slot in the pay-per-view. I hope that if this goes down, hopefully Kevin Owens will win so we can keep progressing. Because we need to get to a point where we get the Intercontinental Championship on somebody who, can kind of stay healthy and consistently challenge different people. I feel like Kevin Owens could be that guy, that steady, consistent person who, in him being the heel that he is, he could come out, he'll talk shit, he'll sell the hell out of a match, and then he'll put on a good show, and we can get some really good heat going towards a non-heavyweight title.
Yeah, no, it's a fair point. It's exactly what you need. So you need progression with this belt. So we'll wait to see how this feud further progresses. But I mean, I guess we're all expecting it to go to Hell in a Cell. So with that mentioned, you can't really extract much more from that match. So we'll move straight along to the Divas Championship celebration, and you had Ric Flair, Charlotte, obviously being the new Divas champion, Becky Lynch and Paige, and basically just celebrating the fact that there's a new Divas champion, and you have them crying again. At the pay-per-view, I didn't mind them crying when she won the belt, but it just gets so annoying. But you had that little celebration going on, and then Paige just tore it up. Because honestly, me saying this, I truly mean it. This moment here was my highlight of Raw. Like, that's it. Because just when Paige cut her promo, the whole basically smack talking every single diva in the locker room, like every single one, it was magic, and it was needed. I mean, we said after the Night of Champions review that we didn't want Paige to be like stuck in this little stable, not getting chances to go for the belt. And what a way to pull her out of it than to pull her out from the whole Divas, like her whole Diva Revolution team, and to go out on her own.
Yeah, no, because they definitely need to shake that division up. They need competition. They need all their better people going at each other. Pretty much for the most part, the best people are in these cliques. Well, they were in these cliques, I should say. Between Paige, Becky, and Charlotte, you had three there. Team Bad, you have Naomi, Tamina, and Sasha Banks. Those are probably your top singles wrestlers for the Divas division. Then you can throw in Natty, who came back later in the show. And then after that, pretty suspect for the Divas, unless you go back down to NXT and pull those girls up. Because, I mean, I'm sorry, if you're a Nikki Bella fan, actually, I'm not sorry if you're a Nikki Bella fan. I'm kind of confused as to why, but she really she's gotten better in the ring, but she's not. She barely wrestled. She had her title reign was kind of like bland. Most of her matches during her title reign were tag team matches, or she'd throw her sister in her match because she didn't want to wrestle. Type of thing. She defended that title about 4 or 5 times. She was a horrible champion. It was a useless reign. It was only done. I really do believe that her reign was a favor to John Cena for all his hard work, because she really didn't wrestle with that belt, and that really bothers me. I hate. You know how I feel. It's like Brock Lesnar has come the close to the exception of the rule, and I didn't like Brock Lesnar's reign simply because the champ didn't wrestle, and I don't like that. And it's like she's in the record book. It's one like Brock, at least he's not going to break anybody's record, but she's in the record book as the longest reigning Divas champion, and she barely wrestled. I don't. That makes no sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fair assessment. Like at WrestleMania, instead of her defending her Divas Championship, she was in a tag team match against Paige and AJ. But for me, with Nikki's reign, it sort of felt like it was pushed towards the fact that she held it for a while, and then the whole thing happened with AJ, and then they were just like, you know what, we'll get Nikki to like break through a streak, and then we'll take it from there. So, that being said, after Paige walks off and has a little spill, Team Bella ends up coming out. I thought Nikki actually did cut a pretty good promo at that point, saying stuff like, "Yeah, it only gets harder from here. Like, you think it's easy being the champion, all that." That was pretty good, and then. Whoever booked the next match, Jesus Christ. Charlotte versus Brie Bella. Why on earth the WWE persists with this, I have no clue. Every time Nikki Bella is in a feud, before she fights said person, said diva, Brie has to fight her first and lose.
Yeah. Yeah. So true.
And this match was really average. Like, it was literally your average Divas match, but with the exception of Brie spending 90% of the match attacking Charlotte's leg. Like, that was it. That was literally it. And honestly, the outcome of this match was never in doubt. Like, at no point did I sit there and go like, yeah, Charlotte just won the belt last night, she's going to lose tonight. 100% I knew Charlotte was going to end up winning. But similar to Night of Champions, really, when you had Nikki attacking Charlotte's leg, the finish was stupid. It just doesn't make sense for Brie to be attacking that leg for so long, and Charlotte was basically like in pain and everything. And then how can us fans believe that she's hurt when she just manages to do that freaking finisher?
Yeah, I guess the will of a champion type of thing. I mean, I will tell you this: she did sell it very well. Even when she did that spear, you can see her sell it. So she knew how to sell the injury properly. I definitely do appreciate that. But again, it goes back to they're listening to people's advice about how to go back to doing things the traditional way, so to speak. So, I mean, hey, I'm fine with Charlotte being champion. She's a great athlete. I really do hate how they do Brie. Brie is just Brie. What is Brie? Brie has kind of become purposeless either. Remember when they tried to give her a push as a singles, and then they just ruined it.
She was actually really good singles, I thought, when it was leading to the...
actually was building some really good heat. And then they did the whole, you lose to Nikki and you become her slave, and then she just decided to just stick with Nikki. And it was like, oh, dumb.
Yeah, so WWE itself has had a lot of problems with the Divas division, and like I said, this match was, simply put, it was never in doubt. It was one of those matches you knew the result before it even started. So I guess we move on to find out when Nikki Bella faces Charlotte and what's next for Paige in this whole group thing.
Yeah, and not to the sense she's going to probably get her title back at Hell in a Cell. I feel like they're going to give it back to her I feel like Charlotte's gonna get like a really short reign. I don't
Yeah,
know.
no, that's a fair point. Like I said, we'll just have to wait and see what's next in store for the Divas division. So, I guess we can move on to the next match, but the next match is very, very similar to the Bo Dallas freaking Ryback match. So you had the match 4 of the night being Sheamus versus Mark Henry in what will be a glorified jobbing match. Now, instead of WWE using Sheamus like I thought they were going to use him, having him follow up what happened at the pay-per-view, that being like calling out Seth Rollins or calling out Kane or something, he instead has a match against Mark Henry. In why they use Mark Henry that way, like it's embarrassing to have him just get like dominated in a sense by Sheamus.
Yeah, he just shows up.
Like it didn't make sense to me. So Sheamus wins. He hits 2 bro kicks in a row. I think the first one was really dodgy.
Yeah, that don't think that Mark was ready for it. I think there was a miscommunication.
Yeah.
I think he wasn't expecting it to come at that moment. So it came out really awkward. Although I will say it looked better because it's like it looks better for Mark Henry because hey, this guy's supposed to be the world's strongest athlete, and the bro kick, while it looks vicious, it shouldn't just take everybody down. It's like if I bro kick the Big Show, I probably should have to bro kick the Big Show twice. You know what I mean? Because he's supposed to be a monster. If I bro kick Brock, yeah, I probably need to bro kick Brock a couple of times to put that big boy down. Something like that. So it probably was a botch, but it came off being a botch that worked a bit in a match that honestly had nothing.
Again, waste of time, really. But
by the
that's a
way,
very
did Sheamus speak of his failed cash in? Did we get any discussion on what happened at the end of the night with him?
No, instead he mentioned that he's gonna win the belt. Basically, that was pretty much
so.
the only direction.
Again, we were looking for answers. We really got none at all.
Yeah.
By the way, I think we failed to mention the whole Kane angle. Did you want to just save that for last?
Yeah, I was gonna save that.
Okay.
For when we hit the end. So, like we said, Sheamus wins. I do agree with you though. The 2 bro kick thing on the bigger people. They really need to start selling size because right now in WWE, size means nothing. And I'll get to that more later, like when we get to the other big guy on the roster. But for now, we'll move straight on to match 5 of the night, which was a 6-man tag team match. You had Rusev, Kofi Kingston, and Big E versus the Dudley Boys with Dolph Ziggler. And this is one thing WWE do right. The 6-man tag team matches, when it's like big superstars in there, they always do it well. Like it's always easy to follow matches. And it's just over the top, like always energetic, people flying everywhere. It's just crazy. And the result, not too surprising. I mean, they did well throughout the match, having Dolph Ziggler play the real baby face sort of thing. You had Rusev being the really aggressive heel, as well as Xavier Woods on the outside, just with that stupid trumpet. Sometimes it just makes you want to just smash that trumpet on the ground.
That's what makes it so great because you just want to beat the hell out. Like, shut up.
But yeah, this match was entertaining. Like I said, 6-man tag team matches, they just work for the WWE with the bigger superstars. They just work.
Yeah, they do. Glad to see the Dudleys back, but I feel like now, like Did the primetime players ever really get their title shot?
Well, I mean, they won the belt, but other than that,
No, I mean the
rematch.
I can't remember if they got a rematch or not.
I think they did, and they lost again.
Okay, yeah, that is something I've just been sitting here like scratching my head about because I feel like
that tag team faded into the darkness pretty quickly.
Yeah, they're gone now. It's like bye. WWE.
What
What are you gonna do?
what do you do? So, the winner of this match was Rusev, Kofi Kingston, and Big E. Rusev ends up super kicking Dolph Ziggler, which I think was a good ending. Of course, you had Rusev lose at Night of Champions, so it's basically.
By the way, the super kick to Xavier Woods. Good lord. Xavier Woods takes more punishment for somebody who wrestles so little. See, like, good lord.
He's copping that Ellis treatment, but he gets hit with one move.
Oh, and I love how he came out in the beginning of the match and sells the piece of the table, talking about how it went through his butt.
Yeah, no, definitely some good stuff going on with that unit. But I'm very glad that Rusev got a win. They really need to start making Rusev look strong again. I think it's time. If you're gonna do anything with him, you have to make him look strong.
Yeah. Yeah, he had that tremendous run as U.S. champ, and then of course he ran into everybody's,
he ran into the WWE version of a brick wall.
Yeah, exactly. He ran into that brick wall and has not been the same ever since.
This is a fair point. So I don't know. They've got to work out what they're going to do with him quickly and get him away from Dolph Ziggler and this whole freaking Lana and Summer Rae bullshit. Just get him away from it. It's ridiculous. Like, it's so stupid. But
yeah, the high school drama has to go.
Yeah, no, that's done. Let's get rid of that. Honestly, at Hell in a Cell, I mean, we can pretty much, it's safe to assume that it's going to be the Dudley Boyz versus the New Day again.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see, are they going to actually give the titles to the Dudleys? Do you think they would do that?
Maybe. Yeah, it depends how long the Dudleys are planning on staying as well. I feel like they're going to have a more permanent role. Like, they're going to be there for a while. But we'll have to wait and see what WWE choose to do. I mean, there's no real reason why they can't take it. It's not like the New Day, in a sense, like holding some sort of record or anything.
Yeah, but I feel like they're there for I feel like they have a purpose. Maybe something probably more backgroundish. But I do feel like they do definitely have a purpose for being there.
Yeah. So moving along of the night, you got the sixth match, which was Paige versus Naomi. Now, it's funny because you had not Paige versus Naomi, sorry, Natalya versus Naomi. And it's funny to say this because you had Paige earlier in the night talking about, like, where's Natalya, all this, and now all of a sudden Natalya's got a match. Like, shit. If it was that easy, you'd want Paige talking about you every night. But friggin' the match was, I mean, Natalya did well. Like, it was good to see her back on the screen and everything. But it was the numbers game, really. It's the same thing WWE has all the time when you have a clique and one person on their own. It really does show where Natty lines up in terms of things with the Divas. Like, she's really just on her own. Now, I don't know if that means throughout the match they highlighted that Paige was watching Natalya's match. Now, if that means that they're going to link up and wrestle together, who knows? I can't speak on behalf of that. But at the end, you had Natalya taking out both Tamina and Sasha Banks as they tried to interfere with the match, and then only to really just turn around and cop the rear view from Naomi.
Yeah, my least favorite finisher. Fuck. I'm sorry. It's like she's very gifted athlete, but why the ass in the face?
Sex sells,
I mean,
my friend. Sex sells.
I'm not even gonna go there. I'm just gonna leave that one alone. Let's just move on. I'm just not gonna go there. Let's just leave that alone, Michael. Stop it.
Yeah, so moving right along, we got match 7, Cesaro versus the Big Show, and again, Cesaro's been on some weird downward spiral ever since really SummerSlam, to be perfectly honest with you. And the Big Show won, and with Big Show's booking, like it's very hard to predict when the Big Show's gonna win, like because he can lose to the most stupid superstar, or he can beat like one of the more dominant ones, or one of the ones that are on the rise. Very hard to predict. This match was, again, it's very hard to watch a Big Show match these days. To sit there and really sit through it, it is very, very hard.
Yeah. And I hate that they have him screaming, "I'm a giant."
We know.
I really don't like that. It's like, why are you making him look pathetic like that? At least that's how I feel. It don't make him. It's like that don't make you look cool, dude. Just constantly screaming about being a giant. What?
Yeah, this is where I wanted to talk about the whole WWE needs to really start selling these big guys. Because look at the Big Show. Like I said, he's huge, right? And you'd assume his character would be a bit harder to beat. But the Big Show's recent form, just consistent losses. Consistent. He had feuds with Ryback. He could never beat Ryback. He just has feuds with people and just can't get past them. And it's frustrating to see because when people enjoyed watching the Big Show was when he was big and dominant. When people enjoyed watching Mark Henry, big and dominant.
Yeah. It's like they lose, but it's like you gotta bring your A game to beat these guys. You can't just like finish them off like a regular person. You gotta go all out. And now it's just like they go down a little too easy.
Yeah, like Mark Henry earlier in the night fell like a sack of crap.
Yeah.
So basically, Big Show wins. Realistically, this was literally just WWE's way of promoting the whole Lesnar versus Big Show at Madison Square Garden that's coming up. So after the match, as I just said, Big Show basically all he does is speak about his match with Brock Lesnar. That's airing, I think it's October 3rd. I'm not sure, and it's going to be on the WWE Network. So I don't. What is it? Is it a pay-per-view or is it just a single match?
It's just like every week he's going to show up at a different venue and have like they're going to do a show, and he's going to be the highlight feature. Like
fair enough.
This week, I believe it's at Madison Square Garden, and the main event is Brock versus Big Show. So that will be interesting, only in the sense that I want to know, is Big Show going to the Suplex City? If Brock can do that to him, good Lord, Brock.
Yeah, we'll have to, like I always say, have to wait and see. But they also had the Big Show after the match discussing his history with Brock Lesnar, which was pretty interesting, including the fact that I think Big Show mentioned he was the first ever superstar to defeat Brock Lesnar. And it was in the same arena that they're about to do battle. And he finished by promising he'll be not making a trip to Suplex City, which more likely means he's going to Suplex City. And as I said from the very, very start, Big Show's booking is too terrible for us to really take his words seriously. Like, when Lesnar says, I'm going to beat this person, you think to yourself, he's going to beat this person. When Big Show says, I'm going to beat this person, you go like,
Yeah, you're probably gonna end up selling
yeah.
somebody.
So, I don't know what they're going to do. Hopefully it's an entertaining match, and we'll have to wait to see what comes from it. But like I said, Big Show sold pretty well, but the match was I don't know what they're doing with Cesaro now.
Yeah, it's time will tell. He had a good run, but I don't know why they can't figure out how to do anything.
Yeah. So that leads us to the main event of Raw, being a match that was made earlier in the night by Kane. You have John Cena versus Seth Rollins. Now, before we get into the actual talking about Kane and everything, we'll quickly discuss the match itself, which I read earlier, I think it was like the night or the morning of Raw. I read that Sting was meant to appear on Raw to discuss what happened the other night about his injuries, because they were announcing. I was reading that they may have been career-ending injuries. I'm
Right.
not too sure. I'm not too sure if that's 100% like confirmed if he's going to retire or not. But I just heard that the injuries were pretty severe.
Yeah, I heard it was a really bad neck injury.
Yeah. So regardless, you had John Cena come out defending the United States Championship, which he won the night before. Night of Champions. Seth Rollins, to his credit, coming out for his third match in 2 days. Like, this man just doesn't stop wrestling. And, I mean, you could tell a bit that Seth was a bit behind the eight ball in a sense. Being that he was probably tired, exhausted, beaten up. All of the above, really. I mean, he had a match with Cena. He had a match with Sting. He got bro kicked by Sheamus, and then he got choke slammed by friggin' Kane, only to come back to Raw and have another match. So, pretty intense stuff, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
But I think with this match, again, very predictable in a sense that I don't think it was realistic for, like, they did Seth holding the United States and the WWE as a one-time thing, just for kind of just like just to get people watching in a sense, or like interested again. But this match, John Cena was always going to retain the title, because you can't have Seth carrying the main belt plus another individual belt and have to defend them both. Like, it's stupid. So I'm glad
It would have been
this.
an interesting if they would have did a bit of a run with it. Like, have them double up matches. That would have been funny if they would have tried to do that. But I mean, I didn't expect them to go all out on it, and I expected Cena to get his belt back soon. I mean, so it worked
Yes.
out for what it was.
So I think pretty much
But
the
let's
match.
discuss the whole Kane mask thing.
Okay, so like we said, Cena wins. Let's moving on to the very end.
But at first, the beginning with him and the conversation.
Yes,
What was
earlier in the night, you had the Authority talking to Kane. Kane's all excited. He's all like, I just wanted to do something big, put this match at the end of the night, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, yeah. And then they're like, we haven't heard from you. And then you appear at the pay-per-view, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, what? I didn't appear at the pay-per-view and all this. And it almost looks like are they teasing like a split personality sort of thing?
I
Like
guess they're doing that again. where
Like he
he'll
has no
be
idea when he's turning
regular
into.
Kane and then Nightmare Kane. Like what? Really? We're going back to this? Like we're really going old school with this. Thought that was very
Yeah,
interesting.
I hope they do continue it because, in a sense, it's working well. And so after their match, Seth Rollins is in the ring. Kane then pops up on the big screen saying like, "Be the best champion you can be," right? And then he drops like a little hint in a way. He's like, "You never know who might be coming next. Like it could be anyone and all this." And then he just keeps repeating like, almost like saying that it's him, like he's coming for you next. And
Right.
then he's like, those flames hit, the whole room goes red, and a hole in the like ground in the mat opens, and it's like Kane dragging Seth to hell. That was a really good finish to Raw. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. It was funny. It was definitely funny. It is I mean, I don't want to see Seth versus Kane, but
Not
they're
for the
making
belt.
it an enjoyable prospect so far. It is actually being played very, very well.
Very well. I mean, to the point where we actually wanted to discuss it, because usually with the backstage interviews and stuff, we don't really cover them. So for something like this to
Yeah,
happen where we actually want to discuss it, that's good. And it's kind of good to see Kane, because Kane for me kind of was floating in the same barrel as the Big Show, where I was like, maybe it is time for these two to just like step out of the spotlight in a sense.
yeah, and I just don't like corporate Kane wrestling. I really don't like the wrestling aspect of corporate Kane. Just let him stay out of. He shouldn't wrestle in the suit. The suit. Oh my god. You see the slacks and stuff like that. It just bothered the hell out of me. But overall,
Yeah,
it
no.
was okay. Raw. Like we said, they didn't really answer much in the way of, hey, what's going on with this? What's happening here?
I think it
You know,
left more questions than answered. It really didn't answer much, and that's pretty much it. I guess now it's a waiting game to the next draw, and um, I mean the next big thing to look forward to really is the Brock Lesnar Big Show match to see how that goes down.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Definitely have to see what's going to happen with that. Real quick before we end this, I need to like rant about something, and that is WWE 2K16. So
All right.
they're just about. I think they're done with the roster. Um, I don't know. Let me see the list. Okay, so the list they have as of now is from last week. I do believe there's maybe one more update or something. I don't know. I'm not sure if they're gonna put anybody else in. But looking at this list, I'm I'm really not happy with the like overabundance of legends as opposed to current superstars. Like going through this list, look at some of the legends they have. General Adnan. Do we need General Adnan? Colonel Mustafa. So are we gonna have every incarnation of the Iron Sheik here except for the Iron Sheik? I don't see the Iron Sheik. That's the funny part. I don't think they have the Iron Sheik, but they have Colonel Mustafa. Really? Does that make sense
Well,
to you?
I think for us, WWE, speaking the WWE game, when they said they were going to have such a large roster, I kind of felt like it was under the impression that they were going to do multiples of everyone. I thought they were going to do like Dead Man Undertaker, again, badass Undertaker.
Yeah, but they're really stretching it though. It's like really, really. It's like I don't know if I discussed this with you, but I was talking with somebody about this. Like they have Paul White, they have the Big Show, and they have the Giant. Those are three. That's the same person, 3 times. And then I'm like looking through, just like shaking my head, and then I get to the end, and I'm like, wait, what? You have Mikey Whipwreck on the game? Mikey Whipwreck. Do you know who Mikey Whipwreck is, Pete?
I got no idea who that is.
But this is for the real old school hardcore wrestling fans. Mikey Whipwreck made his name in ECW. He was a guy that I believe Mick Foley brought in and trained and had a little run in ECW. He never really had any type of association with WWE. I think he was still with ECW at the time when Vince eventually bought them. But I have never in my life seen this dude on a Raw or anything like that. So why is Mikey Whipwreck in here? Are you going to have an ECW mode too? I don't get it, because if so, then I need Tajiri. I need, the FBI. I need
Mikey Whipwreck is in the game,
the
but
Sandman.
Rob Van Dam isn't.
It's like I can think
Rob
of like Shane Douglas. Rob Van Dam. I can think of a million people from that era that you could bring in. Not Mikey Whipwreck. Hell, where's Tommy Dreamer? Somebody, please. At least some of these people I'm naming actually showed up on WCW too. And honestly, I don't think RVD is on this game, which is like crazy at all. So I don't get it. I hear it has better wrestling mechanics and stuff like that, but the roster itself is not. It's not really appealing to me. I love all my old wrestlers and all of that, but I feel like they're missing a very good opportunity to highlight the modern wrestlers, and they're burying a lot of them in this roster, because I mean most people are going to see all their favorites and gravitate to them.
Yeah,
I don't know. I really don't know what's going on, but that's all I have. Do you have anything else to add, Pete?
No, I think that just about sums it up. We'll be back next week, basically pretty much the same time for our Raw review as always, and we'll try and do something special for that Madison Square Garden pay-per-view. Also, let us know if also for the people watching, let us know if you want us to do some NXT stuff, because we just found out that there's some Asian lady debuting that's meant to be coming. She looked pretty cool from what I was seeing earlier. So I've actually wanted to discuss NXT. Probably shorter. They'd be a bit shorter than the Raw reviews, but it'd definitely be something to consider.
Yeah. Let us know what you guys want to see. If you want us to check out that as well on the podcast. So I think that pretty much wraps this one up.
Yep, definitely.
So again, thank you guys for all your support. Appreciate you coming through. We're back on regular schedule, so just keep looking for us on a weekly basis, okay? All right. Well, you guys take care. Pete, go ahead and say your farewell.
All right, take care, guys. Catch you next week.
All right, and we will definitely catch you next week. We're out of here. Peace.